Ripped from the headlines. In 1842 Arlington, Lisa Hill Corley plays a woman fighting for her freedom in a true courtroom drama like you've never seen.
My mother was a wedding gift from Summers to his daughter and new son-in-law, Austin Adams. Adams often complained that his father-in-law gave him slaves in such a way that they were of no service to him, where they became free as soon as they became valuable.
Somewhere between a play and a reenactment.
She is legally free. That is what this trial is to determine.
A real-life case of Julia Roberts, not that one, who sued for her freedom. Her mother was freed before she was born. She was able to get a lawyer to sue the slave owners who claimed that they still owned her and kept her captive.
You've spent weeks and months. You were cast in the show. You then learned of the show. You're performing the show. Why was it so important to bring this piece of history to life?
It was history right here in my backyard that I didn't even know. I wanted to hear about someone who took matters into their own hands and their own agency and got themselves free and found the lawyer. And that there were people even in the South that would fight in the 1840s rather than like Civil War era times.
I had to read it a few times before I figured out how I could put it together, when I could actually have the lawyers say what's in a written document.
Guillotine Theater's Catherine Azelford brought documents from Arlington Historical Society to life.
What I'm calling a scripted reenactment.
Catch two shows. First, Saturday, 3 o'clock at Ball Sellers House.
It's exciting to do it here because this is the oldest house in Arlington. It was built about a century before Julia's story.
So we're right, down the street from a 7-Eleven and into just a regular neighborhood. Our history is everywhere.
So I think it's significant to have Julia's story told here. And there are some plaques, or as we call them, stumbling stones, right out front that mark the lives of people who were enslaved on this property.
And at 11 a.m. on Sunday, audiences might be surprised when Julia Sues for Freedom pops up at Westover Farmers Market.
So much fun to do these things in the open air for a crowd that may not expect to see it.
What goes into that versus a theater situation where someone has bought a ticket, put it on their calendar, and showed up?
In that kind of theater, especially with this material, will really lend itself to being more of a little bit of a teaching performance, more than just like a regular we're standing and people watching us and ask questions after. It would be like more about drawing people in.
What would you tell somebody sitting on the Metro about Julia Roberts' story?
Believe it or not, people were able to use the courts to get themselves free from slavery. Now, keep in mind that it was all about contract law and not about like any sort of moral decision about what's happening to people. I think these are important stories to be told.
And on May 2nd, a plaque remembering the life of Julia Roberts will be unveiled in Arlington as part of the Memorializing the Enslaved program by the Historical Society of Arlington. I'm Tommy McFly, News 4.